winter. Yes.
No, I disagree.
Hey, wait a minute. I was the first one to disagree.
So tell me, kids, what are you both arguing about?
We didn't see any animals out today. That's weird, right? I think they went out to look for food elsewhere because of the snow.
Well, I think they're all hiding because they saw a ghost or something that scared them far away.
Maybe it was a big hairy spider.
Well, let me tell you that neither one of you is completely right nor completely wrong. With the winter cold, all of nature slows down as if it weren't moving. There's less food available than during the other seasons. Therefore, some animals will try to find food farther away, and I mean much farther away. It's the case with migrating birds.
Aha! I knew I was right. Oh, look! I recognize this one. It's a crane, and this one is a swallow.
But where do these birds go to look for food?
They go to a country that's warm and sunny. They can travel far over many, many weeks. They'll stay there where it's warm for a few months, then fly back home for spring.
Wow! I never would have guessed. But swallows are strong, just like me.
The only difference is if you're cold, you'll just stay in bed.
Well, that's exactly what some other animals do. They prefer to stay in bed all winter. We say they hibernate.
I told you. You see, I was right, too.
Before the start of winter, those animals stock up on food. As soon as it gets cold, they get comfortable and spend all winter inside.
Wait, even frogs hibernate?
Yes, some of them do. They stay underwater and breathe through their skin.
Wow, now I understand why we don't see them.
But do they really sleep all through winter? That's a long time to sleep.
No, they don't sleep all the time. They just do things much slower. Since they have a lot of food in stock, they can have a snack in between each nap.
I would love to stay in bed when it's cold outside and have lots of carrot cake to eat.
You can do like the jaybird. He hides nuts and acorns in the forest, so he has a reserve of food to get him through winter. And any acorns he forgets to eat end up growing when it's spring.
Good idea. I'll hide a bunch of carrot cakes everywhere.
Okay, but you'll have to make them ahead of time. You have to be the one to stock up.
No fair. Isn't there a way to get already made carrot cakes?
Well, what's this? Isn't this already made?
Yay!
So tell me, kids, did you understand everything today?
Yes, in winter, if we don't see any animals, it's because they migrated at the end of summer like the swallow.
And others hibernate like frogs or hedgehogs.
That's mostly correct.
What?
This morning, I don't think you took the time to properly look around you. There are also animals who adapt themselves. Their fur becomes thicker, like with foxes or rabbits. This helps them withstand the cold.
No fair. You didn't tell us about them.
Yeah.
You're right. Just enjoy your carrot cake, kids.
Bees.
How do you think they do it?
So tell me, children, what have you decided to learn today?
Well, we were wondering how bees make honey.
Yeah, because it's absolutely delicious.
We already know that bees forage the flowers.
But what does forage the flowers mean?
I think it means that bees visit each flower to collect the pollen.
Oh, yeah. I know what pollen is. It's flower dust. The bees mix it with water, and it turns into honey.
No, that's not quite right. When the bees forage the flowers, they collect the pollen so they can eat and feed their little ones. But the bees also collect the flower's nectar.
Oh.
Nectar is a sweet substance found in the center of the flower. The bees harvest it and mix it with their saliva to make honey.
Their saliva? But that sounds disgusting.
Don't worry, it isn't. Bee saliva has no taste at all.
So bees go from flower to flower harvesting pollen and nectar and carry it on their hind legs. Once they're back in the beehive, they make honey.
Why do they make honey?
So they can eat it just like we do.
That's right. And since the honey won't go bad, the bees can eat it during wintertime when there's no more pollen.
Of course. In winter, there's no pollen because there are no flowers.
Here, look. It's in these trays that the bees deposit what they've harvested.
It's from those trays that we extract the honey. They need to be handled very carefully so as not to disturb the bees.
Yes, I think it's better if you do it.
Once we've extracted the honey from the honeycomb trays, we need to put everything back into place so the bees aren't disrupted.
It's nice of the bees to make honey for us.
Yes, really nice of them to share their food with us.
They're even a lot nicer than you think because they don't only make honey, they also have a very important job to do for nature. Pollen doesn't exist only as food for bees.
Wait, isn't it thanks to pollen that flowers can reproduce?
Yes, that's very good. As they forage, the bees gather pollen all over themselves. Then they deposit small amounts of it each time they visit a new flower. This is what we call pollination. That's how flowers can reproduce. They make new little flowers without having to move from where they are.
Wow! Not Not only do they make us happy by making honey, but they help grow flowers everywhere.
The good thing is that the more flowers there are, the more honey they can make.
And that also means more honey on our toasts. So, did you understand everything we said?
Yeah, when the bees forage the nectar from the flowers, they make honey.
They also help nature grow by transporting the pollen from one flower to another.
Very well done, kids.
Mosquitoes! So, did you find anything?
No, but there has to be a solution.
So tell me, kids, what are you studying today?
We were wondering how to get rid of mosquitoes. They bit us all night long. But all I found was information on their life cycle.
We don't care about that. We just want them to leave.
Well, they don't like the smell of lavender, but the smell needs to be very strong to keep them away, so you'd have to have piles of it.
Of course. Remember when we slept outside under the stars?
Oh, yeah, I remember. It was great.
We were in a field of lavender.
You're right, and the mosquitoes didn't bite us. But in order for it to work in here, we need to grow a lavender field in our bedroom.
Aw, the only thing this insect is good for is keeping us awake at night.
Well, you should know that mosquitoes are also very useful.
Sure, biting and keeping people up at night is super useful.
It looks like mosquitoes need our blood to reproduce.
That's correct. Female mosquitoes need our blood to help develop their eggs. They lay them in the water, and as the eggs mature, they turn into larvae.
I remember. We've seen mosquito larvae in the water before.
Mosquitoes lay eggs in the water where their larvae develop. Therefore, they spend one half of their existence underwater and the other half in the air.
They're such show-offs. Mosquitoes think they're hot stuff because as babies they can swim and as adults they can fly. That's no reason to bite me.
Mosquitoes are a very useful part of nature. They are one of the essential links in the forest food chain.
Of course, it's explained on this page. First, the plants are eaten by insects and snails, who are then eaten by birds, frogs, and other mammals, who in turn are eaten by foxes and raptors. Now I understand why mosquitoes are so useful. It's because they can feed both fish and birds.
That's exactly right.
Ha ha! Serves you right, mosquito. Looks like you're gonna be dinner.
Mosquitoes don't exist only to be eaten by others. When mosquitoes are in their larval stage, they eat the waste in the pond, thus filtering the water. And when mosquitoes are adults, since one of their food sources is nectar, they do the same thing as bees do.
They make honey?
Yeah, delicious blood honey.
Ew, that's gross.
No, of course they don't do that. They help pollinate the flowers. They transport pollen from flower to flower, thus helping the flowers to reproduce.
Oh, well, of course. I always knew that about mosquitoes.
So, kids, did you understand everything we said?
Yes, first mosquitoes live in water during their larval stage. They're useful because they purify the water and are food for fish.
Then the larvae come out of the water and change into mosquitoes that live in the air. They help nature grow by transporting pollen from flower to flower, and they're also food for the birds.
Very well done, kids.
Edmond and Lucy